Hey folks, welcome to Advisory. Hope you guys are doing well. I don't know if you feel this or not, but it feels like things change way too rapidly sometimes. I feel it, you may feel it. Maybe some of you have experienced some change, both positive and negative. Maybe you have changed, maybe your friends have changed. A lot of things can happen, and a lot of times that can be stressful to deal with. And so today, one thing I want to talk about is how to deal with change and the stresses that come along with it. Because if there's one thing that I know never changes, it's change.
I'm going through changes.
I'll say it again. The only thing that doesn't change is change. Everything changes. We're in a constant state of change. You and I are both getting older, not getting any younger. Every new year brings new changes, whether you're at a new grade or at a new school. Your friend group will change. You'll make friends. You'll lose friends over the course of your life. Your family group may change with divorces or marriages or births or deaths. There's constant physical reminders in our world of change, which is the seasons. Every year, we've got 4 different seasons. Well, really in Texas, you only got about 2. Well, here in Texas, we do not have 4 seasons. We've only got the 2, and I call it the hot pocket principle because it's either going to be ice cold or molten hot lava. Okay, maybe there are other places that have better seasons than we do, but the fact is that it's about to get cooler and our attitudes are going to change. We're going to be able to go outside without frying like an egg. Change comes when you move to a new place, whether that be a new house, a new city, a new country even. Our building is certainly going through a couple of changes. Every time I come to work, there's a new way that I have to get to my office.
Which, that's cool. Every day is a new adventure, and I love that.
So we know that change is going to happen no matter what we do or say, and so all we have to do is figure out how to cope with that change, how to deal with it. So these are some of the ways that you can deal with change. So step 1 of dealing with change is simply to acknowledge that change is happening. Sometimes change happens so rapidly that we lose ourselves in it, and sometimes it's because we haven't acknowledged or noticed that the change is actually happening. With that acknowledgement, you have to realize what about this change is in your control and what is not. So here are some changes that are in your control, and then we'll talk about some that are out of your control. The classes you take and choose to take right now and in college are completely in your control. You just have to talk to your counselor about things and have a clear idea of what you want to do. The jobs that you accept and apply for are completely within your control, both now and in the future. What relationships you are in is in your control. Maybe not so much as family, but definitely friends and significant others. You can choose who you hang around. Your personal attitude towards anything, towards the day, towards a task, that is in your control as well. Who you spend your time around and who you talk to and what you do when you're with those people, that is in your control. How you eat and sleep is generally within your control. And how you treat others is certainly within your control. Changes that are out of your control are things like big world events. Your parent or guardian's decisions are out of your control, and that's especially pertinent right now when you are living with those adults. Sometimes we wish we had more control over what our adults decided, but we don't. Tragedies like illnesses or deaths or natural disasters, these things just are a part of life, and we can't control that. While we control our own choices and we control how we treat others, unfortunately, we can't control what others do or what they decide to do to us or say to us. And that's hard to remember sometimes, but important to keep in mind. And lastly, growing up or the passage of time. You can't help it. You can't remain where you are forever. Everyone's getting older. Everything is changing as we get older. And acknowledging that is a good way to remain peaceful about it, which is really the goal, is just to be as much at peace with change as possible. The second thing is to realize that even good change can cause stress. Many of you seniors are going to start feeling that this year as you get closer to whatever you're going to do and your next step of life after you graduate, is that even though it's good that you're graduating and getting out of high school and moving on to the next step, it is stressful. It is very stressful, and it's going to continue to be stressful, unfortunately. Sorry to, spoiler alert. I just got done moving into a really cool spot that I really like, but it was so stressful getting all of my stuff and lugging it up a bunch of stairs and having my friends help me. Ugh. So even if something positive is happening in your life that you are going to enjoy or that is a good change, it can still cause you stress, and that's okay. Number 3 is keep a regular schedule as much as possible and make healthy choices around diet, sleep, and exercise. So when I was moving, I had to be very careful with what I was eating and whether I was getting enough sleep because moving takes a lot of energy. And I made the genius decision to move while school was going on. So I had to have enough energy in reserve to do my job. So even when change is happening around us, we can still strive to keep healthy choices consistent when we talk about our schedule, our diet, and our sleep, and even exercise. Number 4 is to seek support. Think about who understands whatever changes you're going through or who is experiencing the change with you. Change is not something that is only happening with you. Everything is changing constantly for everyone, as we've established. So when it comes to things like growing up, a lot of the times you can look to a trusted adult to help you understand what you're going through because they've already been through it in some way or another. Or, as is the case often with your class, the people that you've grown up with, that you've gone to school with for a while, they are also experiencing similar changes as you at the same time. And so sticking together and being there for each other is a crucial part of getting through change. Number 5 is to find joy in the positives of the change. Even when things are stressful, it's important to hold on to the things that are exciting about the change and focus on them as a main motivator to get through the change without too much stress. It's also important sometimes to vent about the negative aspects of the change. Sometimes you need to do that. And again, that goes back to seeking support and having people there that you can vent to. But it's important to not vent for too long because as we've established, no matter how much you complain or vent about the change happening, a lot of it is out of our control. So in as much as you can, even though some change can be tragic or devastating, on the change that does have positive aspects to it, it's important to focus on those. So those are just some of the ways you can deal with change, but I want you to continue this discussion with your advisory class. Go to the questions on the next slides and talk about how you deal with change and what it may look like to deal with it moving forward. Be good to yourself and others, and I'll see you real soon.